Then there's
Ken Slaughter is from Worcester area, and he recently has retired from a career in information technology. He has been writing poetry for a long time, but in 2011 he came to the realization he was writing a lot of short poetry, and he decided to concentrate on the Tanka poetry style. And he believes that it changed his life, and he began to publish Tanka poetry online and in print journals, including Ribbons, 100 Gourds, Red Lights, Cattails, and Moon Garlic, to name a few. And in 2012, after 1 year of that decision, he won second place in the Tanka Society of America annual contest. And in 2015, he won 2 honorable mention places and first place in a contest for Tanka poetry. He currently serves as vice president of the Tanka Society of America. So we are in good hands for Tanka poetry. And this organization is an international organization with over 350 members from more than 10 countries. And some of his work can be found in Petrichor, available on Amazon. And Ken also maintains a blog called All Things Tanka, where he provides interesting and important information like submission deadlines about Tanka poetry that you can check out. And now we will have some time to listen to perhaps some Tanka poetry as well as other poetry that Ken writes. I'm looking forward to his presentation. Please give a warm hand for Ken Slaughter. Is that accurate? Did I get you?
Thank you, Cheryl. Well, that was a pretty neat introduction there. Thanks a lot, Cheryl. I love this place. It's my favorite place to go for poetry and song, and I love the storytelling too. Can everybody hear me okay? So we're just going to start with some later poems, and the first one is one that Cheryl wanted to include in her promotional emails. I think she thought it was appropriate for me. So a backpack with my life story inside. The truth I twist and bend just to get it in. Here's a few more on the lighter side. Colleagues studying smartphones in the elevator. I break the silence with a fart. Never too old to start something new. Tonight I have begun drooling on my pillow. That barren tree he wanted to chop down, not long after he left her, blossoms on every branch. Already late, I take the wrong exit and my grandson laughs. He hasn't yet learned how to panic. A frozen banana falls to the floor with a thud. Only in my dreams could I get so hard. So I deal with all topics in Tanka, especially aging, which is happening to me. So I'd like to make a little bit of a switch now, and I want to read some haiku. I don't write haiku myself. I write something close to it called senju, but we'll get to that later. But I do appreciate haiku, and haiku is kind of close to Tanka. By the way, the poems that I just read could more properly be called kyoka, which is a lighter form of Tanka. In each case, you have 5 lines, but with kyoka, it's on the lighter side and humorous, hopefully. So this poem is by Basho. The temple bell stops, but the sound keeps coming out of the flowers. And that poem, to me, captures the kind of resonance that we hope to achieve with really good short poems. My favorite haiku poet is Issa. Don't swat that fly. See how he prays with his hands, with his feet. My old village lies far beyond what we can see, but there the lark is singing. In this world we walk on the roof of hell, gazing at flowers. This last one I think is my favorite. He wrote it when his daughter died. The world of dew is the world of dew, and yet, the world of dew is the world of dew, and yet. Love that poem. Now my brother passed away this past year. So I have some taka that I've written that are actually influenced by Issa. We always have poetic influences in our lives. And so here's a couple of mine. On the wall, sharing my shower, a spider. Let's pretend, my friend, we never saw each other. Dark clouds, yet in the distance a soft glow comes over the trees. There the sun must be shining. She sprawls out over my lap and purrs, only an animal, and yet. One thing I forgot to mention is, and I always forget something when I'm reading poetry, on the back table I do have a handout that has all of the taka that you're going to hear today. And there's other poems like the haiku, and then there's a couple of longer ones I'm going to read. There's a link in there to a website of mine where I've posted all those poems. I did it this morning. So if you really want to review any of these or read them again, they're there. Because a lot of times I go to the poetry readings, I say, damn, I wish I had that so I could read it again, So here's a longer one, and this one is inspired by Billy Collins, who's kind of a favorite of mine in terms of mainstream poetry. We call it mainstream poetry in the tanka world, because we're not really recognized that much in the mainstream. So I didn't know what to call it, but I'm calling it Encounter with a Poem. Excuse me. In my dream last night, all the words and all the books still in print had ripped themselves out of the pages, demanding their freedom. Not knowing what to expect, I rushed down the stairs. Imagine my relief when the only thing unusual was a poem by Billy Collins, playing cards in the kitchen. Each line was in its own chair, except the ones that rhymed, and they were sitting together. One of them held something that looked like a cigarette, and I didn't mind as long as he smoked in 2 dimensions. A tall line of verse on a semicolon cushion, observing a cobweb in the corner of the ceiling, played a clever simile, which held the trick until a short line on the right trumped it with a metaphor. Interrupting as politely as I could, I offered them a non-smoking room inside my Kindle, and away they went on iambic feet back into the pages of their book. So that's that one. This one is called Passing a Lake at Dawn. I pass this lake every morning without noticing, but today, an oval of sunlit blue surrounded by gray clouds looks like a spaceship in the sky. And I'm trying to drive, but there's a ladder of slanted light floating down, and my head jerks around like a robot suddenly given life. And the mist is rising, and the face of the lake is still and serene, as if in a trance or in a dream, waiting for aliens to emerge from the sky and take her away. And I could almost want to go too. But there's a left turn ahead and so much to do. So now I would like to try this video. And I'm going to have to read the poems, I think. The video is my wife's pictures, my poems, put together, and then some background music by an artist who I actually got permission from to use his song. His name was Booty Seifert. So can you guys play the video? Called Between the Words. Tiny crabs scurry for their holes. I promise, friends, to tread softly and carry no stick. Clearance sale at the corner bookstore. Rain dripping down the exclamation point. The goodnight kiss, my daughter says, what she missed the most when I left home. Blank squares and a crossword puzzle my brother left at the cancer clinic. Answers we never find. He went to heaven, the boy says to his brother, both shivering in suits and ties beside their father's grave. A tremble in her voice between the words. I switched the phone to my other ear. My father, sinking behind a cloud, I draw him gently with a pencil. Singing hymns on Easter Sunday, my faith rises, trying to walk out of its tomb. Finding yes before the no's can reach their weapons. I give my change to a bearded stranger. Setting aside my reading glasses, I search for the tree where the redbird sings. An orange moon rises over the beach. Holding hands, we see our shadows in a new light. Just one thing on my bucket list: to feel your hand, to hear your voice when it's time to face the dark. Sorry. No, thank you. I guess hopefully you can see it okay. Thanks a lot. Cheryl, how much time do I have left?
Looks like about 7 minutes.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so I have a few very short poems that they're similar to haiku, but they're called Senju, and they're in, it's Senyru, and they're in 3 lines apiece, just like haiku is. Invisible fence. His wife says the dog will get used to it. Performance review. I practice by bragging to my wife. Manager's lounge. 3 of them troubleshoot the coffee maker. An old friend. I duck down the other aisle. You've had that experience before. You see somebody that you just don't want to talk, you know. I'm an introvert, so. I've written several tanka on the theme of worrying and anxiety, which is my favorite subject. So I thought I'd read a couple of those here. Lying in bed, no strength to lift this day, a stack of what ifs sitting on my chest. Gentle waves rocking the boats. Another storm my mind predicted never happens. A tree trunk lost in the shadow of its branches. Another yes when I meant to say no. This is one of my big problems too. But saying yes to wake up and smell the poetry is always good. Now here are just some of my favorites that I said if I've got time left, I'll read these. On a shelf in her dining room, the red truck her father bought, hoping for a boy. So I saw that truck. It's my wife's. It's a big truck, and I asked her about that. And she said, well, you know, my father was hoping for a boy, but got a girl, and he's pretty happy with that. Sunlight slips through a tangle of trees, not knowing where to go. I take one step. My penny sinks to the bottom of a well, all the wishes I never made. A mountain wrapped in purple haze. If only I could go back and misspend my youth. That one is the one that won second prize in the 2012 contest. I was thinking of Jimi Hendrix when I wrote that. Scent of rain rising from the pavement after a storm. The few things I still believe. Roots so deep I can't pull them out. This life that doesn't know it's only a weed. Endless the cries of wild geese, then silence. By the time I look up, they've all flown away. So I think that's about it. What do you say, Cheryl? Thank you.
This is a song sort of on your theme, Cheryl, of connectedness with family and place. Not too long ago, I was doing some cleaning up, and I found a letter that I wrote to my mother as a college freshman and never sent. It was a letter that, well, let's just say I grew up in rural Pennsylvania, and there I was in Boston, freshman in college, thinking like, what have I gotten myself into? This maybe is not what I should have done. You ever been there? Dear Mom, it is snowing in Boston. The nights here are lonely and long. The stars can't compete with the lights in the street. Their brightness displaces the dawn. December here sparkles like glitter. I admit that it has its own charm. But these glass Christmas stars, as bright as they are, they're not like the stars on the farm. The refrain goes, stars on the farm. Help me. Stars on the farm, they're not like the stars on the farm. My days are now filled with computers, meetings and telephone calls. Oh, it's work that I've chosen. It leaves my heart frozen like ice stops the flow of the Charles. I can't taste the fruit of my labor like those peaches we canned in the barn. I can't write code by the court. There's no warmth in this work. It's not like the work on the farm. The work on the farm. The work on the farm. It's not like the work on the farm. Tonight I went out for some friendship. The clubs here never close down. With electric guitars ringing out from the bars, there's music all over this town. But they don't sing songs like you used to, and they never play three-quarter time. Though they sing loud and strong, to me it's all wrong. not like the songs on the farm. Now wherever I go, my tracks in the snow remind me of where I come from. Though we are apart, you are here in my heart. I will always be part of the farm, part of the farm, part of the farm. I will always be part of the farm. Thank you.
Lavender, jasmine, rosemary, peach and pear, apricot, then there's me. Tarragon, strawberry thyme, in my trees where I hide.
Are you worried about letting your child take the wheel? Maybe you should also be worried about what you're doing behind the wheel. Have you ever sent a quick text, just this once? Well, that might turn into a catastrophic accident. Monkeys see what monkeys do. If you do it, why wouldn't your child? In a child's brain, almost all things their parents do, they can do too. 78% of teen drivers surveys text and drive. 59% said their parents do it too. Stop texting and driving, because if you do it, your child will too.